hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys. Thank you so much for waiting, guys, and I'll be there very soon. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. Just wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. Just wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. there very soon. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes, and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. Just wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes, and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute.
Okay, hello. Welcome back to our sixth episode. Okay, थोड़ा सा होगा. ओके सो हम लोग आज कंटिन्यू करते हैं अपने टॉप डाउन शूटर जितना हम लोग ने बनाया था लास्ट टाइम. ठीक है, सो विल सी कितना आज हम लोग कर पाते हैं. हम लोग एक लिस्ट क्रिएट करते हैं व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू प्लान, जो आज के हम लोग के स्ट्रीम में हम लोग ट्राई करेंगे अचीव करने को. या बेसिकली हम लोग का जो एक रोड मैप है कि पहले आई विल गो टू दिस एंड दिस एंड दिस, तो जो डेवलपमेंट का फ्लो है वो हम लोग थोड़ा देखेंगे. बट फर्स्ट लेट्स सी हम लोग ने लास्ट टाइम क्या किया था. सो वी हैड क्रिएटेड दिस काइंड ऑफ इंटरेक्शन काइंड ऑफ एक स्टैचू जैसा लिया था, सो दैट हम लोग के वेव्स बाय डिफ़ॉल्ट स्टार्ट ना हो. वील स्टार्ट देम व्हेन वी इंटरेक्ट. तो ई दबाने पे हम लोग का वेव स्टार्ट होता है, एंड देन लाइक दीज एनिमीज दे कम इन द लेवल, they can hit us, damage and everything was done. Damage numbers हम लोग ने ऐड किए थे, they don't stack yet and the wave is completed. Then we start another wave. अभी currently I think wave number कौन सा चालू है वो भी हम लोग उधर लिख सकते हैं, but based on the number of waves we can see कि the enemies will increase. कि अभी now we have 5 enemies, 6 enemies. Last time like 3 थे, like उसके double हो गए kind of. And we have this grenade. Interact करने पे we start with a third wave. and इसमें there will be even more enemies. If I don't kill them, we'll able to see ki the amount, but I'll try killing them as they are spawning. And yeah, currently I see only goblins spawning. I don't know if I done any logic, but I think all three of the enemy types should spawn. If not, then we'll check क्या issue है. But हाँ, so skellies are also spawning. There's a skeleton जो हम लोग पे arrow shoot करता है. And we can damage the skellies also using our grenade, जिसमें हम लोग ने एक timer create किया है. अभी के लिए काफ़ी generous timer है, so easily regenerate होता रहता है basically grenades, like you can see. As soon as one grenade is over, second one is available to us. And we have a third type of enemy. I hope we can see it in this wave. But currently we are spawning enemies on a chance. So based on the random spawn percentage, we have kept a very low chance of maybe 5% or 10% for this guy to spawn, leech. And he throws this projectile. And अगर वो projectile हम लोग को लगेगा तो we can see कि we can take a lot of damage. And G दबा के I can turn my cheats on so that I don't die now. So my character will not take damage while I'm in a cheat mode or god mode, you can call it. And also these leech kind of enemies, they have no effect to grenades. Grenades you can see is doing zero damage को तो ignore करो, but it is not doing any damage basically to them. So I will have to use my bullets on them. And then wave completed. तो ये हम लोग का बेसिक सिस्टम है जो बेसिकली चलते ही रहेगा. देयर इज़ नो एंड टू दिस वेव. इट विल कीप इंक्रीजिंग उसका स्केल बेस्ड ऑन द परसेंट ऑफ आवर वेव. जो हम लोग का वेव नंबर स्पॉन हुआ है, वील जस्ट मल्टीप्लाई दैट विद अ पर्टिकुलर नंबर एंड देन वी कीप स्पॉनिंग इट. तो दिस इज़ व्हाट वी हैव डन. एंड आई हैव अ शॉर्ट to do list which I had created, and इसके अंदर this was the last thing that we did. So this kind of done wave system. We can change it later, but basics have been done, and these are all the things that I can do today. और basically हम लोग अभी यहाँ से कोई भी एक चीज़ लेके we can start. तो like we have our damage numbers currently do not stack as you can see. तो if I damage an enemy एंड उसको 30 डैमेज लग रहा है एंड आफ्टर दैट अगेन उसको 30 डैमेज लगेगा. इफ़ आई डैमेज इट ट्वाइस तो इट इज़ जस्ट 30/30. लाइक वो उसके ऊपर हम लोग को दिख नहीं रहा है. टेक्निकली इट इज़ 60. इफ़ आई डैमेज इट ट्वाइस और थ्राइस इट शुड बी 90, बट इट्स नॉट स्टैकिंग दोज नंबर्स. सो दैट इज़ वन थिंग वी कैन डू. वी कैन यूज़ एन NPC टू स्टार्ट द वेव. करेंटली वी डोंट हैव एन NPC, जैसा मैं लास्ट टाइम में भी प्लान किया था. करेंटली वी जस्ट हैव दिस स्टैचू. So that is one thing we can maybe work on. Then we can introduce multiple areas for like a player can travel to. So this is like one area जहाँ पर हम लोग के वेव स्पॉन हो रहे हैं, and then maybe like a player can go somewhere else, and वहाँ पर अलग एक एरिया होगा जहाँ पर अलग टाइप के enemies maybe they will spawn or something, and maybe we can, if we are adding upgrades to our game, so we can have different upgrades through different kind of NPCs. So that is one thing that we can do, which will come basically with this. The level design and multiple areas will be one of the same. And shotgun choice, if we want to give a shotgun to our player, so that is also something I can implement. And we can spawn enemy using our environment query system, jo currently I'm not doing. I'm just spawning it with a random location I'm trying to take around my player. Environment query system will also do the same thing, but उसका query system is like Unreal का inbuilt system है. So उसमें हम लोग को थोड़े better functionality मिलते हैं inbuilt, which we don't have to create it ourselves. Then leech जो हमारा enemy है, it does not spawn anything right now. It is just a simple enemy and it just gives you like this projectile फेंकता है वो. So that is one thing कि I can make it spawn mini enemies. We can have a start area. Currently we don't have a start area. हम लोग से वैसे ही start हो जाता है हमारा player and just E दबाते हैं and waves spawn होते हैं. तो we can create like एक player जहाँ से start करता है and then it goes towards an area. तो एक initial जो start area है जहाँ पर हमारा game spawn होगा, that is one thing I can create. And then ability to unlock and upgrade system by contacting NPCs between waves. This is a very huge kind of system. If we have to implement this, it will take a lot of time, because इसमें we'll have to create a system where we can add multiple abilities, where we can upgrade them if we have them. If we don't have them, we can unlock them. तो वो सिस्टम बनाने को थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा if we are committing to that. So that तो वो I'll keep it for later. फिलहाल we'll work on the simple things that we can improve on. And yeah, I'll see to create an NPC maybe to start first, and then we'll go on with the other things. Okay. How many sessions will be required for a polished game? So polished game के लिए तो depends on the idea. If we are done with the idea right now, if I don't need to add anything else, तो polishing में it will only take maybe 1 or 2 more sessions, because the main thing is the way the game plays and the UI. That is the main part that is left in terms of polishing. But if we are extending on the game, which I am planning on, थोड़ा बहुत तो हम लोग को कुछ एक्स्ट्रा चीज़ें डालनी पड़ेगी, बिकॉज करंटली देर इज़ नथिंग जस्ट वेव स्पॉनिंग. तो अगर हम लोग को थोड़ा सा एक ऐसा कुछ स्टोरी रखना है, या कुछ NPC इंटरेक्शन रखना है, या कुछ अपग्रेड्स रखने हैं, वेव सिस्टम के कोई भी गेम्स होते हैं, तो when the waves are increasing, like when the wave starts from 3 players to 6 players to 10 players to 15 players to 20 players as an enemies, so when the enemies keep increasing, what it means basically कि the game is getting more difficult. If the game is getting more difficult, your player should be also upgrading its arsenal so that it can handle the difficulty, because in the end, if the player keeps playing this endlessly, there will be at a point where there are 100 enemies in the screen, and the player does not, it just has the same weapon and equipment जो उसके पास start में था, it is not upgrading. So the difficulty basically keeps rising, but the player's equipment is the same, which is not something that will be fun later on in the game. If you want your player to keep playing the game, you want it to have a feeling of achievement or a reward for playing the game. तो वो एक चीज़ अभी तक मिसिंग है हमारे गेम से, which is a very big thing. तो to implement that will take some time, which is our upgrade system and ability unlock system, if we are adding that. So anyway, हम लोग पहले स्टार्ट करते हैं थोड़ी चीज़ों से, देन विल सी कितना उसको टाइम लगने वाला है. एंड विद द सजेशन ऑफ everyone here, if we want to add something or not add something or change something, so we can try and discuss further. Okay, so for now I have this character. ये वाला एक सिंपल कैरेक्टर है हमारे पास, एंड वी विल जस्ट कीप हिम एक साइड में, जिसके पास लाइक वी कैन interact with, and we can like start our wave. Currently we are starting our waves using a statue, so we can use this character instead of the statue. Okay, very simple, like थोड़ा सा cryptic है उसका, because उसका hoodie है, तो like assassin or some kind of guy who doesn't talk a lot, but he's just like waiting there on the side, and maybe he will appear when we are not in gameplay. So जब waves and everything are not going on, only then he'll be there, otherwise he'll disappear. Something like that we can create. So instead of this hub that we have created, this will basically be our NPC. Okay. hello नरेश. So हम लोग इसमें जो हमारा हब है, ये instead of this hub we will call this guy our we can't just name him NPC. We'll have to call it NPC like primary. For now, I'll categorize NPCs in terms of priorities. There will be like a primary NPC जो मेरा पूरा गेम dictate करता है, and then maybe if I had more kind of NPCs later on तो मैं उनको एक category wise name कर सकता हूँ या उनको sort कर सकता हूँ. But फिलहाल suppose instead of this statue that I'm using, let me use a skeletal mesh and here I will keep this guy. So let's see what kind of animations we have. Even if we don't have an animation, we can just create a simple pose. We don't need the NPC to animate. वो सिर्फ एक साइड में for now he'll just stand there. That's it. But still, if we have a good pose, we can see. So he has these kind of poses. Bound, burden. So what I'll do is I'll create a new pose. Okay, I will use this idle and I will copy it, call it a lean pose. And I'll remove everything. And यहाँ पर I will create a pose where suppose this guy is leaning on to. Every time it's just preparing shaders. ये सिंपल वाला नहीं है क्या? दिस इज थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट है. I'll use this one. It's looking simple. Can you make a day and night cycle in this game? We can think about it. Depends if this environment that we have chosen for our game looks good at night. अभी currently तो ये day के लिए बना है, but at night also we can try to manage some post process effect and we can try and create a day and night. But सिर्फ उसमें issues ये होगा कि all our enemies should be properly visible at night time, तो maybe we'll have to apply some glow or something, because कोई कोई enemies हमारे ऐसे जो blend हो रहे हैं environment के साथ, but light में we can see them. I don't know dark में कितना अच्छे से वो दिखेंगे, तो उसके लिए हम लोग को काफ़ी changes करने पड़ेंगे. But for now suppose इसका ये lean pose है, and if I want to show this guy leaning onto suppose a table or something, और जैसे डेस्क सामने रखा है, जैसे शॉपकीपर्स या समथिंग ऐसे लीन करते हैं, तो सपोज लाइक इफ आई टेक अ सिंपल क्यूब, okay, like this is the guy which we can go and talk to, but he'll be leaning somewhere आगे. तो what I can do is I can create an animation, एक pose मैं यहाँ पर create कर सकता हूँ. I'll have to select its bones, पहले तो इसके हाथ हम लोग को थोड़े से आगे फोल्ड करने पड़ेंगे डेस्क पे रखने के लिए. एंड दिस इज़ नॉट आई थिंक द फर्स्ट थिंग आई शुड डू. फर्स्ट थिंग इज़ प्रॉबली आई शुड मूव द स्पाइन थोड़ा सा आगे, रोटेट, बट देखते हैं पहले इतना करके. And he has very weird skeleton. We have pelvis, we have spine. Yes, okay, thank god. तो spine में हम लोग इसको थोड़ा सा आगे लीन करेंगे. एंड इसमें एक बार फिर से उसको ऐड करना पड़ेगा, आई थिंक लीन पोज. काइंड ऑफ लाइक दिस, ठीक है, कि वो आगे ऐसा लीन होके खड़ा है. दिस कैन बी मच बेटर, बट फिलहाल वी डोंट नीड टू ऐड दैट मच डिटेल. all we need is like a pose. I can make him lean in more, but let's see in game how does it look. Doesn't look so bad. And I can also actually थोड़ा सा मैं zoom in कर सकता हूँ मेरे cam को, so that when I'm not in gameplay, I can see thoda sa details more clearly. So the cam that I have, I can change the arm length. To 500. But the only issue with changing our arm length lower is that we are not able to see anything like outside our screen, so we don't know where to go or anything. But that is an option we can keep for later. And this cube that we are using, we can create it actually under this NPC. Or no, let it be. I'll just add a cube here. Day and night cycle, we can add different enemies which are stronger and faster. Yes. And ये गेम का नाम मैं डाइंग लाइट रख देता हूँ एंड वी विल कॉल इट अ डे. एंड रात को एक गेम में फिर वॉलेटाइल्स घूमेंगे इंस्टेड ऑफ zombies. इसको मैं ये सेम मटेरियल देता हूँ जो ये वॉल का है, वुडन बोर्ड वाला. ओके, एटलीस्ट लाइक वो आउट ऑफ प्लेस नहीं लगेगा. लाइक दिस इज़ द गाय, वी को इंटरैक्ट विद इट एंड फिलहाल के लिए डायरेक्टली वेव स्टार्ट हो जाता है. वी कैन ऑल्सो ऐड लाइक कन्वर्जेशंस और समथिंग टू इट सो दैट हम लोग उससे कुछ बात करते हैं. एनपीसी हम लोग को बोलता है कि ओके देयर आर सम एनिमीज इन दिस एरिया और समथिंग, और मे बी ही लास्ट कि डू यू वांट टू बाय सम stuff like some gun or some abilities or something. Like I have some things, and then maybe a menu pop up hoga and we can select the items that we want to upgrade or want to unlock, and then afterwards we buy like at least one or two items. Maybe we can show ki this guy will say ki this area is filled of some kind of enemies or monsters, and then our waves will start after we buy something, after we buy at least one thing. So and then we keep on upgrading our things, and वैसे the enemies also keep getting tougher, but also our player gets more reward as they keep on grinding the waves. Can you show how to fix the camera in third person when we climb an elevation or stairs? What I mean by that is the camera kind of jumps when a character steps down and onto something. I'm not making an elevation or something kind of a game right now, like, but this is like a top down shooter, so I can't really show you the third person camera fixes or anything. But it should not be that hard, I think. If you are adding a separate camera with instead of a camera inside your character, what you can do is add a spring arm to that camera like this, and just enable a little bit of a camera lag so it doesn't constantly keep following your player's location every frame. Instead of that, there's a lag, so because of the lag you won't be able to see any stutters or jumps, as you're saying, when you're stepping up and down. But yeah, so anyway, this is our basic NPC for a game. Okay, and also of course this HUD which we can see right now, I want this HUD to go away when we are not in gameplay. It should only be available when we come, we interact with the NPC, and maybe like the waves start and you see the HUD, so you know okay now the gameplay is starting, so we can like try to shoot and everything. But by default we will keep it on 800 for now, and during the gameplay mode or something we'll keep like two modes where there is exploration mode and there is maybe like a gameplay mode or a combat mode. So when the combat mode is on, we will keep the arm length to 800 so that we are able to see the enemies around the player. And when it's in an exploration mode, we can just thoda sa we can zoom in so that we're not able to see a lot of things, but at least we can see more clearly. Like for example, this NPC or some area that we want to travel to or something, so we can see it more clearly. Okay, so inside our MJ, actually let me just write one more thing here: combat exploration mode for player. Okay, in case like we don't finish it or something, so I know to keep a note that I have made this kind of an idea that I want to implement. Okay, so anyway, first thing I think I'll do is spawn enemy using environment query system. So right now what I'm doing is we are spawning using this spawner. So what this spawner does is begin play pay, it starts the wave, and when it starts the wave, based on this timer, it spawns enemies, and it keeps spawning these enemies. It just checks with the game mode if we can spawn more enemies, and that is basically taking the check if the we have reached the max enemies on wave. If we haven't, then we'll start spawning the enemies, which is here. And this is the main thing, the location currently we are just taking the main player location, and 1500 units away we are making like a radius, and we are taking that location. But I don't want the enemies to spawn within 1000 units of me, so I want the enemies to spawn like in a donut, you can say, not within 1000 units from me, but also not more than 1500 units away from me. So it will be like a donut which has a lower circle radius of 1000, and the outside circle radius will be of 1500. So between 1000 and 1500 there will be a circle that I will spawn my enemies in. So that is one thing that I am using. But what I can do is I can spawn it using an environment query system. EQS my find spawn location. In top down, can you add indicator that are also shown when the enemy are coming, where the enemy are coming? Okay, true, you can do something like that. So that is what I said, because अगर हम लोग का कैमरा बहुत ज़्यादा zoomed in होगा, we won't be able to see कि where the enemies are coming from, which is why I want the camera to be zoomed out during the combat mode. So the players, or sorry, the enemies which are coming in, they also have this radius कि they only stop when they are 500 or something units away from me. So if I start my wave, so this is of course a melee guy, but even the ranged guys like this guy, I want this guy to only start attacking me when I can actually see it, when it is in range. It should not attack like when it's out of range, like something like this. It should not attack from this range. So when he's actually in my screen, only then he should be able to attack, so the player can see and the player has enough time to dodge. But for example, like for something like this, he's attacking when he's out of my screen. So this is something that I want to avoid, and adding some kind of indicator might solve it. तो वो भी एक चीज़ है which we can do. So I will add it somewhere here. Add indicator for enemy outside of player's vision. Okay, for now we will create this EQS. This EQS will create points in a circle. It can technically create points in a donut. This is what I was talking about. It has an inner radius and an outer radius. We can try this. We'll see, like, drawing a donut of 500 200 units or 1500 units, and we have number of rings, points per ring. Okay, so that is basically how many rings there will be inside those two circles. Create 10 and 3, so that will be like 30 points at maximum. And we can add some tests like pathfinding. So the path exits from our querier. And we can also check the distance, but let's not check distance for now. I'll just do this. Okay, now when I'm spawning, I will run EQS query, okay, which is my find spawn location. Querier will be my main player, and it should give me all the matching points that it gets. And I have to bind an event on query finished. So actually I feel like they should give another execution pin for finished directly, like montages do. Like you have this on finished pin here, on completed. They should give a on finished pin for our query, but we have to bind another event for this. So spawn our enemy. So what we will do is we'll take this, we will get the location, all the locations that it is giving us, and we can get a random point in that, and that this is basically our spawn location. So this will basically go here in our spawn location. For now I'll keep it here because I will remove this and this. Okay, so if I can spawn enemies, I will run this environment query system, and after the query is finished I will take that location and I will spawn the actor. Now there is a possibility this fails, so we need to check if, wait, do we have a return value? Yeah, returns false if there is no valid result. So if this is true, if this is valid, then we will spawn. If it is not valid, we will give it a delay and we will do we will run the query again. Okay, so let's see if it works. And also let's see where it spawns from. And I will increase my camera location so that I can see where my enemies are spawning. So one guy spawned there, he spawned there, and he spawned there. Okay, they are spawning very like randomly, which is nice. Also, I just want to see if this spawner is giving me all the correct points. So what I can do is before spawning I can also run a for each loop where I can in this array I can just draw a debug box to see where this is giving me these points. Duration of 10, 5 seconds, 5 thickness. Line color I'll give it red. So these are the points, you can see the red points. So it is creating it evenly, but I can increase the number of points. And see this and this circle. So our enemies will only spawn inside both of these circles. But I don't know what these points are. There are multiple, there are 3 layers of points actually. Still we can test and we can see कि कितना दूर वो spawn हो रहे. And it spawned outside the first circle. This guy spawned outside the third circle. So let me kill them and see. One more thing actually I can do is I can, okay, because I had created 3 rings, okay, इसके लिए वो 3 रिंग हो रहा है and then वो 3 रिंग के points ले रहा है, ठीक है. So I'll create 3 rings and points per ring I'll give it 30 and let me see all the points. Okay. So ये थोड़ा बड़ा है I think. Yeah, I'll have to kill these guys. So the max radius I have to lower it thoda sa and inner radius I have to increase it. Inner radius will be like 1000 to 1300. This is better. Now the only thing is I have to make the area of in a way that my enemy should not spawn in this house. They should not spawn like here outside the house somewhere, so that they have to walk somewhere in. So I have to create like a circle area where I have to keep a fence so that my whole spawn points are inside that fence. That is basically my level design I'll have to create. So this is a spline system that they have used. Something like this, but this is I think in one And this is just in one blueprint. Okay. So I'll create a copy and इसके अंदर मैं वो चीज़ करता हूँ. It keeps building the navigation. Navigation can affect navigation है ही नहीं इसमें. Why is it? Okay, so it keeps generating the meshes and meshes are generating navigation, and because of this navigation we are getting those lags. Okay, that is probably inside here. They are adding spline mesh components, and these mesh components are affecting navigation. For now I'll keep them off so that will lag नहीं होगा. Okay. $1,300 or 1,400, 1,500. Still it is lagging a bit, but ठीक है. This lag is due to this running every frame that I'm moving it. So if you don't want this to happen, what you can do is in the class defaults or in the class settings, you can run construction script on drag. इसको बंद कर दो. Now every time I drag it, it won't lag because वो construction script won't run when I'm dragging it at least. Wait, इसको क्या हो गया? Could be bigger, I think. This will not edit it. This is very weird. $2035. Is this enough? It should be. Okay, this is kind of like our arena, and इसमें we will need to edit these splines. And this is, I think, one thing that I will remove because I want the player to have an entry point. कि ये remove करने के बाद it should not it keeps connecting itself even after removing it. ठीक है, वो we'll have to see. But this whole fence I will take and थोड़ा सा Z पे okay, and I will have to take these kind of splines up. Unreal programmer, hello. You and I are the same. I am also an Unreal programmer. will, I think, have to select. Can you play my game? I can try to make the game that you have made. uh, but no, I can't like really play games here. It's more of a trying to teach people how to make games. Hmm. This is acting very weirdly. Okay, I'll leave as it is for now, and our navigation path should cover this whole level. And this part is curved, so I will need to have my navigation scale up. Okay. So I don't really want for now my AI to spawn anywhere outside of this circle. So these points will technically also not be uh, spawnable. So I'll have to remove those areas later. But I can add some colliders which will basically block my nav mesh so that I can make those areas not reachable. Okay, for now we've started. Yeah, you can maybe post it if somebody wants to play, they can try. Okay, so this was the at least basic level design. It's not done yet. It's like uh, partially first area done. Okay, I still need to add some stacking numbers or something. Oh no, we have someone casting spells on us. What are these spells? Please just make a comment here on this or any other post. I don't know, I don't understand. I don't speak that language, sorry. But one thing now that I will focus on is this part is also done. Make leech spawn mini enemies. This is a fun part, so this is why I want to make this. So currently the EQS is working fine. I don't want this to draw debug, and I want this to be removed now because I am confident that the EQS will work. and this looping is not really required now, because I can just pawn this, and after a delay I can run the EQS again. Okay. Hi bro. Hello. INR on channel. Weird name. Is that Indian rupees on channel or Inron channel? I don't know. But what we want to do now is mess with our leech. Yes, I said it. We have leech spawning projectiles, and now we will make him call, like he's calling. He's like, yay, let's go, let's play. Bro, Java is only accepted in Unreal Engine. Are you like trying to verify facts, or are you giving me Google fact of the day or the cap of the day? I don't know, but that is big cap. Unreal supports C++, and it also does support verse if you want to learn that. But we will introduce this calling. So what I will do is this ranged attack, I will make a copy leech call, and what I'll do is I will introduce calling. So at least the leech will call now, unlike my girlfriend, which I don't have. This will call. Okay, this is more like a notify, so I can place this notify anywhere. This will be somewhere here. After he's done doing this, then we will make it spawn the enemies. Okay, hello to all. Yes, hello everyone. So this is what we will implement, basically this leech doing this montage and then spawning different small enemies. And of course, yes, we will change our cam again to default 800, and I will introduce a combat and non-combat mode, which is an exploration mode where the camera zooms in and out when the wave starts. So this is where we will spawn different enemies around this leech, which we will be able to kill with guns and with grenade, but we can't kill this leech enemy with grenades, so that will like be a challenge. Okay, and I'll just take a short break and we'll continue after that, so stay tuned.
So 5 minutes and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. Wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. Thank you so much for waiting, guys, and I'll be there very soon. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. Just wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. Just wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute.
Hello, we are back. ओके सो एज आई वाज सेइंग हम लोग ये लीच का सिस्टम विल क्रिएट वे रिस्पॉन्स स्मॉलर एनिमीज. So where is leech? Very important. Everybody asks where is leech. Nobody asks how is leech. Okay, this is the death related logic, so I should probably comment it. Death. This is my damage, and this is just so that this radial damage I've just used so that it overrides the radial damage of my base class, which is taking 100 damage on the grenades, but my leech does not take any damage, so I'm overriding it to not do anything when it takes radial damage. So I can technically comment this overriding radial damage so that leech, or as I had named it, leech does not take grenade damage. Why is leech? True. I will do you one better. What is leech? Nobody knows. This is my begin play. I'm just setting 4 different parameters for the leech to have a different kind of shade every time we spawn it, so I don't need to really comment anything on this. I will just leave it green for begin play, where everything starts from. Now what I need to do is, we need 2 kind of attacks. Now leech can basically do the calling, it's kind of its attack, it's in its attack arsenal. It can't do both things at once. It will either do the projectile attack or it will call more enemies, so we have to override the attack which comes from our base class. This is the attack, okay, and all the other enemies only have one kind of attack. They have this attack montage and they do their montage, but leech will have 2 kind of attacks, so it's a special kind of blueprint or an enemy. So what I will do is, I will take the base attack custom event and I will override it, which will play for now, or I can select 2 montages. I will play either one of those 2 montages, and I can use a random bool with weight because I don't have 3 attacks, I only have 2 attacks. So I can have a 0.75% chance, which is 2/3 of a chance for leech to do its normal attack, and 0.25% of chance, sorry, not 2/3, this was 3/4. My maths is very weak. So this is a 1/4 chance for this leech to do its call montage. Okay, we'll name it call only, we'll call it call, and this will be am leech call. Okay, now inside this we have a notify, montage notify, but the name is different. So this is our attacking. When we attack, we spawn the spell, but we need to check if this name is equal to C is capital call. Is this name call? If this name is call, that means we are playing call montage. If this is false, that means we are playing our attack montage. So if we are playing attack montage, we will start the attack notify begin. But if we are doing our call montage, we want to create a new function called spawn enemies or spawn mini enemies. Okay, spawn actor, and these ones will be different from the actors that we already have. We won't just directly spawn this goblin, we'll spawn a goblin that is unique to this leech, that only this leech can spawn. So या तो we can spawn like mini goblins or something, because we already have goblin animations and everything, or we can see if we want to add a different kind of enemy. For example, these zombies or these ghouls. So it is possible for us to spawn that, but for now what I will do is, because this goblin is almost ready, I will make a copy, call it AI mini goblin, AI goblin mini version of goblins. And why I am using goblins is because they have this material that they have created, which is like different from this one. And the mini ones will obviously be a little bit mini. 0.7. And because this is a top down game, I don't need to change the capsule size, because I will not be aiming. Their height does not matter in terms of collision. My bullet should collide with them regardless, as long as I am aiming at the same direction. So these mini goblins will be spawned here. Mini. And I need a location. Location can be a random reachable point around my leech. So this is like my actor location. This is where my leech is. Around my leech, like within 200 units, I will spawn this mini, and I will make sure that it tries to adjust location but always spawn. And also I want to add a little bit of Z offset so that it spawns above the floor, which technically should be above the floor if I'm spawning a leech. So it is taking my leech coordinates. So my leech coordinates are here, so my mini goblin should also spawn from here, and it will get a random reachable point, but the reachable point it will get will be here, I think. So that is why I think I need to add offsets. Okay. Now for now nothing else, but this is only spawning one. I want to spawn at least, I would say 3, maybe 2 or 3, maybe we can go for more, but 3. Okay, or if you're not a programmer you can start from 1, 1 2 3. Okay, now inside leech we are telling it to spawn the call montage. Call montage spawns, it checks if some notifier is set to call. If it is set to call, we will spawn mini enemies. Now every time we kill the mini enemy there will be an issue. Issue will be that every time an enemy dies we are updating game modes enemy died, and the enemies in level goes down, but we are not increasing the enemies in level count every time we are spawning the mini goblins. Mini goblins don't count in the number of the main enemies that are in the level जो यहाँ पर count हो रहा है top पे. Enemies remain. Mini goblins will not be counted for this. So when we kill them, the count will still go down. So if the enemies remaining is only one, we only have one leech, and the leech is spawning multiple mini goblins. If I kill the mini goblins, this count will go down to 0, which it should not. Unless I kill the leech, only then it should go down. So that is an issue we will come with, but let's see if it works for now. At least let's see if it's spawning the mini goblins. And a wave is completed. One more guy. Okay, leech is here. Thank God. So I'll put my cheats on so that I don't die. And I want to see the leech doing the call animation. Yes, okay. It is calling more goblins. Okay, but it spawned. Wait, leech chill. Okay, he spawned 9 goblins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this is one thing that we need to make sure कि it doesn't spawn more than, you can see the issue. There is only one enemy remaining and we already have like 10 enemies next to us. Not even 12, 10. It's 12 plus the leech, and now it spawned more 3, which is 15, and now it is 18. And it is basically 18 enemies, so we have to make sure that this attack does not keep going through unless I've killed all the mini goblins. So now let's just see, if I kill one mini goblin it will say wave completed, even though I haven't killed the leech, which is actually the main enemy, and I will have to kill all of them. I can just grenade them. Now my enemy count is -20, and still there is one main enemy left. So if I finally kill him it goes to -21. So this is the issue, कि the mini goblins are not counting towards the enemy remain, but they are counting towards lowering the value. So for that I don't want this to happen when the mini goblins die. Now because mini goblins are the child of this AI, This will happen every time mini goblins die. Simple. I can override it, but the problem with overriding is then I will have to copy all of this into my mini goblin, and then in case I want to change anything out of this, I will also have to remember to go and change in the mini goblin. So then basically I will be throwing inheritance out of the window if I am copying all of this in my mini goblin. Or what we can do is when we kill the parent goblin, he will spawn two mini goblins. Hmm. Yeah, we can do that, I think. Then we can do like leech will spawn something else, goblin can spawn mini goblins, but only on death. But the reason why I want leech to spawn mini enemies is because leech के पास ये animation है जो goblins do not have, like these calling animation जो इसके पास है. So that was the sole reason I thought, because leech is not so strong, it doesn't have melee animations, it can't really come and attack me, it can only throw projectiles. That is why I was like, he will spawn melee enemies which will come and damage me, and he will only throw projectiles from the back. So that is the idea that I have. But what I can do to avoid this, so that this does not happen, because this is lowering my enemies in level value, there is a simple fix. It's not a good fix, but it is a simple fix. Is that I can just add a branch and I can add a condition called does affect enemy count. This will be a variable inside my AI which will say does this AI affect enemy count. If it does, we will tell our game mode that an enemy has died whenever it dies. And I can go inside my mini, and default it will be true. Inside mini I will change the value to false. So mini goblins will not affect my enemy count anymore. Simple fix, but I don't think it's a good one, because we will just be creating more and more variables if we want to do something about the enemy count. But I will put my cheats on and let's try to see. Okay, leech is here finally. So it's spawning mini goblins. I kill those mini goblins, enemy count does not go down. Kill him, he still keeps spawning the projectiles. Now what I can do is I need to tell him to spawn do the calling animation every time I have killed its children, which was like the mini goblins. And when it has spawned mini goblins, I don't want it to spawn more. Like now it has spawned like more, 6. So I don't want this to happen. Also they have a lot of health, they have the same health as normal goblins, they have 100 health, and I'm doing 30 damage per bullet. So that is basically 4 bullets per mini goblin, 4 bullets per goblin. And they can also do, if I just put my cheats off, they can do almost 30 damage to me. 2 hits I'm dead, and this guy is bouncing. Isko dekh lo. So that is an issue, a lot of goblin spawning. Okay, so inside leech I need to currently this is just random. I need to make sure ki I have to store that does this leech have enemies spawned, and are those enemies dead. If those enemies are dead, then it will the next montage will be my call montage. Once it has done call montage, it will not do it anymore unless I kill all the small goblins. We want cute child goblins, horde of cute goblins. Stick to use to make us lower. We will need sticky goblins for that. Good idea, I can try that. But what I need to do is, in this attack I need to make a variable can call mini enemies. Okay, let's just say that. can it call many enemies? So before or in select I can do this. If I can call many enemies, I will use the call montage and like do this. If not, I'll keep doing my attack montage. Now if I do this and if I do call, then after you spawn the mini enemies or before I spawn it, I will say that you cannot call mini enemies anymore. First thing is this. Okay, so this does not happen again. Then I need to store these mini enemies inside my array. Mini enemies or my child enemies. What should I call them? Child is better, I think, and I should also rename this. So this will be an array of AI, just AI object reference array, and you add them these values, child enemies. Now every time these child enemies are destroyed or died, can I use bind on destroyed? I can. So every time these child enemies are destroyed, I will remove them from this array. I cannot use custom event inside a function, of course I cannot. I will have to convert this to an event, or I can create event and I'll have to put the name of that event here. Or this will be a function which is remove child enemy. So what this will do is it will technically remove, but there is an issue that I need to specify which child enemy to remove. And if I'm binding this to an event, I cannot have a input parameter here. Like if I do create an input parameter, like the AI that I want to remove, the AI object reference of the child that I want to remove, like if I do remove item, this one, the problem is I will not be able to use that function here. It won't show me the option. If I do create a matching function, it will give me that actor. Okay, it does give me actor, but the actor needs to be this one. Okay, let's try. Remove this from this, please, man. I will have to cast. Or what I can do is I can just create a number array, like just an integer, not even an array. I can create number of child enemies, and this will be a simple integer, and every time I spawn a child I will increment this by 1. Okay, and I will bind the event to on destroyed. So when I do destroy this child, which means I kill the child, I will take the number of child enemies and I will decrement it. That's it. And if this goes to 0, I will say that now I can call child enemies. Okay, and I should also, I can't clamp if I'm decrementing. That's fine, I think. If it is 0, I can call child enemies and we will all just see this guy spawning child enemies, and let's hope it will work. Enemy or child enemy destroyed. Spawn child enemies. So we are spawning them and we are destroying them. After we have destroyed them, this will be true again, and it will do this and it will spawn the child enemies. It will again spawn 3 enemies, store them, which this will be basically 3 then. Okay, we also need to reset this. I don't think so. Let's just see what happens. Oh, leech is here. Okay, it is by default set to false. We need to make it true, or it will just never spawn child. Okay, this guy is stuck here. This is what I don't want. Poor guy. He has no way to come in. Start the wave again and we'll wait. He's just popping in on the screen, something I don't want, but it's okay for now. Okay, leech did not spawn again. I can make it spawn every time, but then it will spawn 3 leeches. I just want 1 leech. Oof. Okay. Okay. One more glitch. So grenades don't really affect me, but grenades affect the enemies, and the enemies can then affect me because they are blocking me. So when the enemies are exploding, I will need to make them not collide with my player so that I don't get pushed out of bounds, or people will start glitching my game. Yeah, I'll have to create collision boxes for that. Okay, leech is here. Good. Any other enemy in level, or only leech? Okay, this guy. Okay, now finally. So it spawned, that guy bounced, and it will not spawn more enemies, I hope. Okay, first thing solved. Now let's just click 1. Okay, one goblin died. All good. Second mini goblin dead. Still all good. Final mini goblin died. And now it won't go back. Okay, it did. Nice. Okay. Nice. So I kill all of them. Okay, yeah, once they are destroyed, they are taking time to destroy, that's why. Because they're still on the ground. Just because they're on the ground does not mean they have been destroyed. I bind the event to on destroyed. Okay, nice. Kill them. Now once the all the bodies have disappeared, that means they have destroyed. And then it will go for the spawning. And it will spawn more. I can just grenade them. And they will die soon. Or be destroyed soon. And now it will spawn. ठीक है, not bad, but I think I can work on the Z offset. Right now there is a lot of Z offset, so they are basically spawning in the air. Yeah, they are spawning in the air. So this leech I will give it like a maybe 10 offset at max, or later on I can even change that to 0. But ठीक है, that is the basic gist of what I wanted to achieve. So leech spawn smaller enemies. No, yeah, these mini enemies should take more damage, should do less damage. So the damage multiplier should be more. Also, I should comment what these values mean. What is this damage and what is this damage multiplier? This is of course the damage taken, but I don't think this is being used, so I need to check and name them properly. So multiply it with the damage multiplier and then we set the damage taken. So damage taken is not something we need to expose. Let's just make it private. We don't need damage taken here because based on the damage multiplier we are calculating the damage taken. So what we need to do is, this is not a good name because this can also mean the damage it is doing. So when it is attacking, attack notify begin, and okay, this directly derives from AI. I should have derived it from my goblin. I think I made a slight mistake. But even then, that's fine. The damage that it is doing to the player, how are the goblins damaging my player? Okay, attack notify begin. Oh, because it's a copy. Okay, okay. So this is the damage it is doing to my player, which is 20. So I'll make it like maybe 15, and the damage taken multiplier should be different. So this is the damage taken multiplier, which is 1.51. In goblin it is 1.5. I will make it 2. Okay, that is basically my goblin mini part. I can try to add a box, collision box. Let me see if a trigger volume can work. Hmm. Why is it acting this way? If I do add a cube and make it invisible, that works, but the trigger volume does not work. I don't know why. No, it still acts the same way. It is still spawning here, which is very weird. This is what it is doing. I don't want this. But let's see if it works in game. On the height it's not working. Okay. So we go here to the NPC. Enemies are not spawning there for now. Start another wave. Again we'll stand here at the edge just to see. Okay, this guy spawned there. Oh, this guy also spawned here. Okay. They are still being spawned like here. What if I keep these cubes like visible like this? Let me just check. Is it the EQS issue or the nav mesh issue? Okay. So now I think it's not spawning there. Waves completed. Maybe when it's not visible, it's just using the parts that are at the edges which it's rendering. I don't know. I can use like a modifier volume, I know, but I was just curious to see how this thing works. If we do keep like invisible colliders to block the nav mesh. And yeah, for now they work as long as they are visible. If we do make them invisible, we have an issue. Okay, and I also made the Avengers logo. Nice. So okay, what I need now is to make a combat and non-combat mode for my player so that I can enable and disable this HUD, which I know you can't see like the health bar or something, but yeah, I want that to be gone when I'm not in my combat mode, or basically when the gameplay is not on, when I'm just like roaming around or maybe going talking to NPCs and stuff. So in my game mode. I have this HUD widgets, but these are all related to my wave system. Update health in HUD. Wave on interaction with NPC. ओके इसके अंदर अभी आई नीड टू create two modes. I will create an enumeration e underscore my player mode, like a gameplay mode or something. Okay, and I'll add like two modes, a combat or a exploration mode and a combat mode. Or I don't need to add mode to this, but just exploration or combat for now. Player is fighting enemies. When player can roam around the world talking to NPCs and interacting with stuff. Okay, these are like the two modes. So for now, when we begin our game, or when we begin this level, because we only have one level, we will set this inside our main player, our player mode, e player mode. Exploration and combat. So on begin play, I will get my player character. Do I have the reference of my player? I don't. I can cast it. That's fine casting, because I know my player will be in reference throughout the game. So I cast and I promote and save. MJ. Now MJ, I will set my player mode to by default exploration, and when my player does go and starts the wave, I will set it to combat. That is here. If there is no wave in progress and we have interacted with the NPC, we will start the wave, and before starting here we can call and say set player mode to combat. And when this does go to combat, the main thing is I need to now turn my HUD on. So technically I am using start wave, and when this happens I can check that in my HUD. So this is my HUD. What I can do is, because I don't want to use these wires, I can just use wave started and wave completed. But on wave start and the wave completions, I also want to change my HUD, like basically toggle things. So this wave start and ends will be the triggers. I have the reference of my MJ, and that's fine to have the reference of your main player. So when the wave ends, I can check the reference, or even without checking, on completion I can just make the player mode go to exploration. And here on end wave, wave completed, set player mode to exploration. Now inside HUD here, when the wave is completed, we will turn these things off. The cheats, I will keep it on. I think I'll turn these things off. This is my enemy count box. Cheats box, and we have the grenade bar and image and the HP bar, all these three things. So I'll create a function actually which will toggle player mode. It will take the input of a E player mode and switch on player mode. So if the player mode is exploration or combat, we'll do different things. If we are on exploration, we will take the grenade bar, grenade image, enemy remain value text, the HP bar, or we can just take the boxes, I guess. So I will need to put these into different kind of boxes. Currently they are not in a box. I can add a vertical box. Put this HP bar in, set to fill for now, and also put this grenade image in here. Grenade bar, but the problem is they won't be added into the same slot. So can I make this a child? No. So I will need to take another panel. And this panel will have both of these. Okay, this is a panel, this is my HP bar. Like, I can keep it like this, I will not, but I can add some padding to it. And here, if I do make it like this, then this grenade bar will always be, of course, in the center. I don't want that. Want it to be like this. Okay, now this, if I keep it on fill, I will have to add a padding, or I can add a spacer. Okay, that is how like I can make it. And now I can just turn this on and off. Now this is like my what do I call it, my health and my like ability bar. I'll just keep it health, and it will also control everything. Okay. So health box will be a variable, enemy count box also a variable, cheat box also a variable. All these boxes will be variables basically, so that I can directly disable the box. Now on combat, or on exploration for now, I will take the enemy count box and the health box, and I will set the visibility to hidden. Okay, or I can technically use a visibility select node like this. Then I won't need to do this if I am only using set visibility and nothing else. I can make them visible or hidden in exploration and not hit testable self only during combat, so that they are visible but they are not clickable. Okay, so by default these need to be off. This box needs to be hidden. Enemy count box also needs to be hidden. So they are hidden. I press E. Oh, I haven't called the function yet, toggle player mode. So toggle player mode will be called here. As soon as the wave is started, I will call it. Combat. And when the wave is completed, we will call it again. To exploration. So right now we can't see the HUD. I press E and now we can see the HUD. Now when I complete the wave of enemies, wave completed, and our health and everything is gone, not visible. Okay. Cheats are still visible, top left, and I know you can't really see the health bar, but you can see like thoda sa health bar. So it is visible every time I start the game. Okay, and yeah, that's it. And I'll take a short break here and I'll be right back in some time, so stay tuned.
So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes, and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. Wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. for waiting, guys, and I'll be there very soon. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes, and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. Just wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. So guys, thanks for watching, and we'll be right back within 5 minutes, and we'll continue our session about making games in Unreal Engine. Until then, watch more about Game Institute. Just wait for a few minutes and I'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying this session, guys, and just wait a few minutes and I'll be right back with you. Thank you so much for waiting, guys, and I'll be there very soon.
ओके हेलो वी आर बैक. सो इसके अंदर वी हैव एडेड अभी एक्सप्लोरेशन मोड तो हमने डाल दिया, बट देर आर सम थिंग्स आई थिंक वी कैन ट्वीक. फॉर एग्जाम्पल like the camera. So the camera is currently not changing at all, except like where a player moves. But as we had planned before कि the camera can zoom in on the player thoda sa when we are in exploration mode and we are not in combat anymore, so that we can go and see the interactions with the NPC maybe more clearly. And out of exploration, when it goes in combat, we can have like this kind of camera where there is more space for the player to look around. So that switching of camera we'll have to do. So the camera is with our main player, sorry, my game mode. So my game mode has spawned my top down cam and it has a cam. Okay, so every time I do start the wave, which is here, I will collapse it to a function, call it handle mode. Okay, or handle player mode. Now what this will do is change it like into combat or whatever, and we can have an input so that we can use the same function for where when our wave ends, which is here. This one, handle player mode. So inside the input we can use the enum player mode, and we can change to that. So we will change our mode to exploration when the wave ends and combat when the wave starts. Now in combat mode we'll change the player mode to combat, that is true, but what we will also do is take our top down cam and set the spring arm length, or we have to get spring arm and then set the target arm length to what we have as our combat length. So inside this top down cam I will create two variables for my combat mode length and my exploration mode length, and both will be floats. Combat mode length will be 800 and exploration will be maybe like 400. What is it now? This is by default 800. 800 again. So exploration में we'll make it 400 or 500, and this will need to be of course a transition between both of them. So inside our camera we will have to play a timeline. or we can do that inside our cam, this part. Change mode, and based on this mode we will run a timeline which will set our arm length. This will be looped between a float track going from a second from exploration to combat. Okay, by default this will be 500, the exploration length. When we play it from start, it will go here. So we will switch on player mode. So if we want to change our mode to combat, we will play and make it go from exploration to combat. If we want to change it to exploration, we will reverse and make it go from combat to exploration. Okay. Now this may have some issues. One of them being what mode we are currently in. If we are currently in already combat mode and we are calling combat mode, it should not go from exploration to combat. That is like 2-3 things that we need to make sure does not happen. But for now I can call my cams change mode function and make it change to this mode. So when I play and we are in an exploration mode and I press E, it goes into combat mode. Wave completed, we are back into our exploration mode. Press E again, goes into combat mode. So this transition is very linear right now because the timeline is using a linear, not a curve, but technically it is like just a linear value. We can make it auto so that it eases in and out a bit. Can I not break it? Never mind, that's a max ease in that we can apply with the same ease out. It's not bad, but I think maybe we can increase the value if we are adding ease-ins. So that it looks a little bit gradual. Okay, what I want actually is the moment our wave ends, this is being triggered. I would like this to be triggered after like 1 second maybe. We'll call wave completed instantly. Give it a 0.5 delay before handling the player mode. And also in this HUD where we are toggling the player mode, I want there to also have a delay. After it is finished, we can toggle maybe. Exploration. It's exploration, and yeah, so the health does take a while to appear, so that should not happen. I think this should be instant. But when the wave is completed, after that the health should not and the enemies remain, should go after a while, like they should basically fade out. Like after the wave completed will fade out, then our HUD will disappear. Okay, and let's just make sure that we can't instantly start and end a wave. If we keep pressing E, of course nothing will happen, but these things will happen after we have defeated them. If I start the wave again, wave starts again. So this is also something that should not happen, I think. So in our MJ class, we have a begin and end overlap here. Check interaction range. This is our interact. So this is just checking and it is like trying to call the interact. Now when it does try to call the interact, we don't want to interact. For now, we won't interact if we are in combat mode. So equal enum. If we are in exploration mode, then we will do this. Okay. If we are not, that means we are in combat mode, we will not interact. And here we have added a delay of 0.5, so it takes some time to go into exploration mode. So the wave has started. Of course E will not work. and here once we have done, we press E, then we can start. Okay, first wave में एक बार let's check again. I'll try to instantly just start. Yeah, we can still instantly start. So that shouldn't happen technically, but we'll have to see. The issue is that the HUD is taking some time for this event to be finished because it is fading it in and out. Oh, we're fading in, yeah. So once this is finished and we are toggling the player mode, this is actually where we should be able to start the event again, or in our cam, because our cam is something that is responsible for taking the camera forward and back. So if it is taking the camera at a particular place, once it is done playing the whole timeline, then we should be able to play the timeline again. So once it has finished, that is when we also need to make sure that we can now start the thing again. So there's basically a lot of checks, the HUD and the camera timeline, two things that we need to make sure are not running right now before we can start another wave. Okay, we know that's an issue, but we have at least done this combat and exploration mode for now. Now the things that have left are stacking damage numbers, multiple areas when player can travel to, shotgun choice, level design partially we have done, a game start area where the game will start from, ability to unlock and upgrade, and add indicators. So out of this, I think stack damage numbers has been left for a while, so we'll try doing that, which is basically if we try to damage an enemy multiple times, it will just keep it does stack basically, but what we need is we need those numbers to add up and not stack. So this is technically wrong, but we need to add those numbers up. So in our widgets we have damage numbers, which are basically playing this animation. Of fading. Okay, yes, fade in. Okay, so it comes up and then it fades out. So that is the reason I had created two different animations, because when it fades in and it stays there, I want this to stay there for a while, and if the damage amount is called again, I want to access this and increase this value and then fade out. So right now what we are doing is, when we take damage, add damage numbers widget. this is what we are doing. We keep adding widgets. What we should do is we should check, do we already have this widget? Because are we destroying these widgets afterwards? We don't destroy them. Finish. Okay. Can I do fade out? Okay, so I can do this. When the fade out animation finishes, I can destroy this component. Widget. So what we are doing here is we are binding an event to this animation, fade out animation. When it is done, which is basically we initialize it, and on finished we then start fading it out. But we can put a delay on this of like a second before actually trying to start this. Now what we can do is, if it has faded out, we will remove it from parent and we will destroy the component. Cool. If we don't remove from component and we have added here destroy component, let's see if it works. It does fade out, of course, but we don't know if it is being destroyed or no. Attempted to access node add widget component via property, but node is not valid. Yeah, so we need to save the particular widget that we are spawning. Yeah. So every time we take damage, we will save it into a variable called our damage amount widget or damage number widget. Hello folks, hello. We'll save it into damage number widget, but first what I'll do is I will check, does this is this component even valid. If it is not valid, we will create it. If it is already valid, we'll do something else, which we will take this widget and actually we should save this as a reference and not this. Damage number widget. Okay, we will have to promote this if we want to destroy it. The downside of that is we will need to cast every time we have created a new one, or every time we just take damage we will need to cast again and again. But anyway, damage number widget, we will use it and we will destroy it, but first we'll check if it is valid or no. Now if it is valid, we will take it and we will call the set text. No, we'll have to first cast before doing anything. We get the widget, we cast, and then we basically do this part. So better what we just do is we don't do any of this, and instead we directly do this. And if it is valid, we will take this, okay, and do all of these things, bind again to animation finished or fade out, and we'll call this. But now we will need to again add a delay. We don't need to fade this out. We need another custom event saying re-trigger damage amount. Once we re-trigger it, we will have to stop this if this is happening. So I can create a boolean and say can fade out. Set it to false. We cannot fade this out yet. We add a delay and first what we need to do is we need to check so that we can stop this. Once we have done this, we will also check is playing, is animation playing? If it is playing, we will tell it to stop this animation, and after a delay of 1 second we will go and try to check if we can fade out, and we will then do this again basically. So by default this will be true, so that we can fade out. But in case between these this delay or anything, we do this, re-trigger it, we will say that we cannot fade out, and we'll stop the animation, we'll put a delay of 1 second, and then we'll check again if we can fade out. Or actually we don't even need this. We stop the animation, actually this will be pointless kind of. We can just do this and do this, and if the fade out is animation is playing, we stop the animation and we set the render opacity to 1, then we add a delay and try fading it out again, and if it finishes then okay, if it doesn't then we will re-trigger it and we'll stop the animation. Okay. I don't know how well this will work, but we can try. So what we need to do is, if it is valid, this thing, we'll cast it, we will set this, and we will also call re-trigger damage amount. And we'll destroy it after the 1 second has been finished. Okay, so this is technically pointless for now. Only thing we are checking is the animation playing. If we stop the animation, we take the render opacity back to 1. And of course the main thing we forgot, we need to add the damage taken. So whatever damage taken that we are giving here, whatever, like here the text, we need to re-trigger it. So instead of doing it here, we'll do it in a different event with this, and we'll give it this basically float. So in re-trigger damage amount, we will give it an amount. we set the render opacity to 1, and then maybe we can do is that we can keep a variable called damage, and we can technically just update it, or I can take that damage, add the damage amount and set it. And then I can set this text to this damage, and then retrigger it. So here we'll have to give it this damage amount. Okay, kind of, it's complicated, I know. So 20 works on that, 30. No. It's giving 0. Technically I gave it the value of damage. It should be 0 like plus 30, so it should be 30. I'm giving it damage taken. Which is like this. So whatever damage it is taking, I give it, it is doing damage 0 plus this damage amount, which is the amount it's taking. We set that 0 plus it, and we set that to a text. Oh, if the animation is not playing, we still want to do this. Okay. If this is false, we still do this. And then we do this. Okay. It's stacking. It's stacked. Let's go. I mean, it's adding the values. Nice. So 20, 40, 60. Now what I want to see is if I interrupt these values when they are fading out, it should stop the animation of fading out, and then it should. No, I don't know if it is doing that. So 20, 40. We try on this guy. Okay. So if I do it during the fade out, I think. Hmm. Okay. This is something I'll have to take a look at later on, like to stack the numbers. But for now, we'll take a recap out to what we did today, which was at this NPC, which is just like kind of leaning onto here. And when we interact with it, it kind of starts the wave, and then the HUD and stuff appears, and we are basically into a combat mode which we introduced, and we can like damage these guys, and the wave is completed, and we go back into exploration mode. If we want to explore the place, we can go back into our combat mode. And one main thing that we did was the changing the leech enemy and adding mini enemies that it spawns. So let's see if it is spawning. Oh, by the way, our health and our enemy count is not visible anymore. I don't know why. It's probably a bug, and why it happened. After wave completed, we have to wait, I think, then we press E and then it works. So it's all about the delay. I think if I do it too quick, if I start a wave too quick, I will have that bug where my health and stuff will be visible, but it will go off after that delay is over. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm waiting for that leech enemy to appear. It didn't, but it will spawn now. Yeah, that was the reason the health is gone. Yeah, so the leech is here, and you can see it spawns small goblins which can be damaged like this, and they give out float values, which is very weird. But once they are destroyed, it will spawn more goblins, and I can damage those goblins like this. And once those goblins are dead, it will again spawn more goblins. These are like mini goblins. They take more damage, they have lesser health pool basically, but they can also do little damage to me compared to the normal goblins. So that's, they are giving me hits, but our health isn't visible. But that's the gist of it, yeah. And we also created this arena kind of thing with our fences, and we still need to make like a small starting arena where like a player comes in from this fence, it goes on, talks to this NPC, he gives us some items, the game starts, and maybe like this fence closes, and then we need to fight off enemies, maybe 3 or 4 waves, and then we are free to maybe start another wave, or we can go here and we can go ahead onto a different area, talk to a different NPC, get some different items and some different upgrades maybe. So that's like the basic idea of the game that I am going with, and next time I'll try to complete it as much as we can. And yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments or something, and we'll try to see what we can do about it. If you have any recommendations or something, we can try to add those things inside our game. But for now, that is it, and we will meet next week. Yeah, so See you.